Episode 15, 1992, We Burned for Rodney. The first night, the world felt like it was holding its breath. I lay in bed, listening to the low rumble of voices outside. Sirens already echoed somewhere far off. I tried to remember the last time the street was quiet, maybe never. Mom kept the TV on in the living room, the screen flickering blue shadows across her worried face. She didn't say much. She didn't have to. We were all waiting. For what? A verdict, a miracle, a reason to hope, a reason to run. My brother paced in the kitchen, restless. He looked older tonight, older and angry. I heard him curse under his breath when the news replayed the footage again. Rodney King on the ground. Boots. Batons. His voice, ragged and pleading. Can we all get along? I closed my eyes and saw it too, even when I tried not to. The next morning, everything was different. People on the corner, faces I knew, moved with urgency. Some shouted, some wept. Old Mr. Johnson nailed plywood over his store windows. Kids, barely teenagers, rode by on bikes, voices high and tense. Did you hear what happened? They let them go. Not guilty. Not guilty. Not guilty. I felt the words stick in my throat like smoke. There was anger, yes, but it was old anger. Older than Rodney. Older than me. Anger that lived in the cracks of this city, in the sirens and the side glances. In the way people crossed the street or clutched their purses tighter when we passed by. By noon, the smoke started. From my window I watched it rise, black columns twisting into the bright LA sky. People poured into the streets, shouting, fists in the air. Cars raced by, some loaded with too many people, too much rage. Mom told me to stay inside. She made us lock every door. But the walls felt thin, as if fire could seep through brick and bone. The air changed. Acrid, burnt alive. Even inside you could taste it. My brother wanted to go out. He said we had to. Be seen. He said, if we stay quiet, we're invisible. I'm tired of being invisible. He left, slamming the door behind him. I almost followed, but I stayed by the window, watching. I saw neighbors, some I'd known since I was little. Breaking windows, running out of stores with boxes, TVs, cans of food, shoes. Shouts and laughter, mixed with the crash of glass. Fear and energy and something that almost felt like joy, but sharper. A release. I pressed my palm against the glass. Felt the vibration of footsteps, the city's pulse surging through my bones. A siren screamed close now. Helicopters thudded overhead, spotlights swinging over rooftops. The city was no longer ours. Or maybe it was ours for the first time. I watched a man toss a Molotov into the liquor store. Flames bloomed, greedy and fast. People cheered, others ran. For a moment, I saw my brother in the crowd. His face lit by firelight, mouth open in a shout I couldn't hear. Was he angry? Triumphant? Scared? I couldn't tell. Maybe all at once. As dusk settled, the city glowed, orange and violent. Smoke and sirens painted the sky. Somewhere, a radio blared Marvin Gaye. What's going on? No one had answers. I sat with my mother in the dark. She lit a candle, hands trembling. She prayed, quiet and fierce. Outside, the world burned for Rodney. Inside, my heart burned too. With fear, with anger, with the hope that something, anything, might finally change. The second night, the city roared. I didn't sleep. I sat by the window, the candle from yesterday burned down to a stub. Helicopters chopped the sky, and the whole house shook with the noise. Gunshots cracked in the distance, too many to count. Mom called everyone she knew, my aunt in Watts, cousins near Koreatown, friends out in Compton. She begged them, please don't go out. Please stay safe. Her voice sounded small against the world outside. I tried my brother's pager. No answer. I stared at the phone, willing it to ring, willing him to call. Instead, the news on TV showed endless loops. Cars on fire, crowds clashing, glass raining down on the asphalt. On the street below, the faces blurred into a river of motion. Some ran with bags of food, diapers, milk. Others with TVs and radios. A woman sobbed in front of a ruined storefront, holding a picture frame to her chest. Another man screamed at a line of riot police, his voice hoarse, desperate. Shields and batons glinted under the streetlights. No one looked anyone in the eye. I watched as the fire spread. One building, then another, flames leaping rooftop to rooftop. Red scars against the black sky. People said this wasn't just about Rodney. It was about all the times we'd been silenced. All the times the world turned away when we begged for justice. There was no order, only chaos and a strange, feverish freedom. For the first time, the powerful looked afraid. But even in the chaos, there was kindness. I saw an old woman help a boy pick up spilled groceries. I saw strangers form a line to pass buckets of water, trying to keep flames away from someone's home. Neighbors, who had barely nodded at each other before, now spoke in hurried whispers, making plans, sharing food, guarding children. Still, the city felt like a wound, wide open and raw. I tried to make sense of it. Why burn our own neighborhood? Why smash the windows of the places we shopped, the streets where we grew up? But every answer I found tasted like ash. I remembered my brother's words. I'm tired of being invisible. Is this what it takes to be seen? Somewhere near dawn, he came home. His clothes smelled of smoke, eyes wild and wet. He hugged Mom so tight she almost couldn't breathe. He told us what he'd seen. Friends running, cops chasing. Buildings crumbling. Someone yelling, "This is for Rodney!" And someone else shouting, "This is for all of us." He said he was scared. He said he was angry. He said, "It's like we finally exploded." We sat together, silent. The world outside was quieter now, the city exhausted. But none of us slept. The next day, the sun rose on broken glass and blackened brick. Ash drifted in the breeze, settling on cars, on rooftops, on the shoulders of tired neighbors. I went outside for the first time. Smoke still hung in the air, sharp and heavy. Every step crunched on glass. The corner store was gutted, shelves toppled. A burned sign said, "Peace." Someone had written, "Justice for Rodney," in black spray paint across a wall. I saw a woman sweep her stoop, humming softly. I saw a child draw with chalk on the sidewalk, flowers, faces, a house with a bright sun. Even after all that fire, someone still believed in color. That night, I joined my brother and a few others on the block. We shared stories, fears, hopes. Someone passed the radio around, playing Stevie Wonder. We sat in the dark, listening, breathing. A police car rolled by slow, its lights off, the officers staring straight ahead. No one waved. We watched the city heal itself, one tiny act at a time. Neighbors carrying water, sharing food, picking up broken things. Under the broken streetlight, my brother said, "They want us to turn on each other. But we're still here. We're still family." I nodded. We were bruised, but not broken. Tired, but still together. In the stillness, I felt something old and stubborn rise in me. Not just anger, but a spark of hope. This city was scarred, but it was still ours. And as the flames faded, we promised each other we would not be silent anymore. Morning after the riots, the world felt hollow. Ash floated in the sunlight, and my shoes left tracks in black dust. Our street looked different. Burned signs, smashed glass, paint scrawled in anger, and hope side by side. Some windows were empty. Some held up cardboard. Black owned. Don't burn. People moved slow, shoulders hunched, eyes searching each other's faces for something. Fear, relief, maybe forgiveness. The radio called it a riot. The neighbors called it a reckoning. Mom gathered us at the table, her hands shaking as she passed out toast. No one talked about the night before. We all felt it, pressed between us like another plate. Outside, I saw neighbors cleaning up together, sweeping glass, boarding windows, handing out bottled water. Some wore "Justice for Rodney" shirts, their eyes fierce but tired. I saw a group painting over hateful words on the wall, turning slurs into flowers. A little girl handed my brother a crayon drawing. 3 people holding hands in front of a bright orange sun. He put it on the fridge and smiled for the first time in days. That afternoon, a church opened its doors. People gathered inside, some praying, some arguing, some just crying. A man stood up and spoke. "This city is bleeding, but we are not dead. We are hurt, but we are not finished." We all listened. Later, I stood in line for groceries with strangers. We shared stories: who ran, who stayed, what burned, what survived. For a moment, everyone was honest. No one pretended nothing happened. That evening, Mom hugged us both hard. "I don't want you to forget what it cost," she whispered. "But I don't want you to lose hope either." The city was scarred, but life crept back in. Kids playing on the sidewalk, dogs barking, music leaking from open windows. At night, we still heard sirens, but we also heard laughter. My brother started helping rebuild the corner store with Mr. Johnson. He hammered nails, swept ash, listened as Mr. Johnson talked about the first store he opened. The hope he had then. I saw old wounds and new beginnings everywhere. People who never spoke before now shared food, watched out for each other. Our block started feeling like a neighborhood again. Some nights, I lay awake, the smell of smoke still lingering in my clothes. But now, when I closed my eyes, I saw more than fire. I saw faces, hands reaching out. A city stubborn enough to rise from its own ashes. I realized something. What we did was more than rage. We demanded to be seen. And even in the darkest night, we kept each other alive. We burned for Rodney. But in the end, we built something new for all of us. Years have passed, but the city still remembers. Sometimes I walk the same streets. They've been rebuilt, repainted, but scars linger if you know where to look. There's a new mural on the corner, painted over the old burn marks. Rodney's face, hopeful, tired, surrounded by sunflowers. It says, "We are still here." Kids play under the mural, chasing each other in the sunlight. Their laughter is wild and free. They don't flinch when sirens pass by, not like we used to. I stop at Mr. Johnson's store, now brighter than ever. He always greets me by name, always offers a smile. My brother works there some days, teaching the new kids how to sweep glass, how to lock up at night. He tells them, "Be proud. This is yours too." Sometimes, at night, I sit on my stoop and listen. The city is never silent. Even in calm, you can hear memories, shouts, songs, the crackle of fire, the prayers of mothers. I think about that week in April. How fear and anger swept us up. How we burned for justice. How we found each other in the ashes. I remember what Mom told us. Don't let the world decide your worth. Don't let anyone tell you your pain is small. There's a kind of freedom that comes from being seen, even in anger. We broke something that week, but we also opened something new. A conversation, a wound, a way forward. Now, I see more faces at the table. Neighbors who once ignored us now ask about our day. At block parties, music and laughter fill the air. Sometimes we talk about Rodney. Sometimes we talk about what still needs to change. We didn't fix everything. There's still injustice, still fear. But there's also memory and hope. I keep the little girl's drawing on my fridge. 3 people holding hands under a bright sun. It reminds me that every fire leaves behind a place for something to grow. If I could tell my younger self anything, it would be this. Your anger is not your enemy. It's the heat that shapes you. But don't let it harden your heart. Forgive, but never forget. Fight, but never lose your love. Because what we built, through fire and pain and hope, is still here, stubborn and shining. When the sun sets over the city, I see light reflected on every window, on every scar, on every face. We burned for Rodney, but we survived for each other. And that, more than anything, is why I still believe in this city, and in us.